Hello, my wonderful listeners. Hyde here with a chilling tale to get your blood pumping this Halloween season. Join me on an adventure as we explore the mysteries of the ghost lights of St. Louis. The quaint village sits nearly 5 hours north of the Canadian state border, a blip in the center of the map. Its secrets beckon out of the darkness in hopes of ensnaring the curious minds of passerbys. This small town is the type of town you'd miss if you dared bat an eye. Mistaken for a speck of dirt on the map. St. Louis, Saskatchewan is not a place you'd suspect to have a story to tell. A haunted legend passed down from generation to generation. A main road runs east to west, stretching through the village and branching out into corridors of small neighborhoods. Snaking to the west, the road connects with a large stretch of highway running north and south. Lying north of St. Louis's center, the South Saskatchewan River meanders by, coiling and twisting back and forth as it slithers across the surface. To the south, crossing its way diagonally across the highway, is the start of one of 13 short rail lines, connecting the rural area to a much larger network known as the Transcontinental Railroad. Many early settlements relied on the Transcontinental Railroad to transport oil, grains, and wood. The steam-powered locomotives revolutionized the 19th century and paved the way for the railroad's future. Not only did it allow transportation of goods between smaller settlements, but it also allowed smaller networks to connect to much larger veins of tracks. However, along this stretch of tracks, a tragic story led to a century-old legend, the ghost light of St. Louis. This bizarre, hair-raising light is known to appear as a bright white streak, radiating out in the distance, creeping closer and closer to spectators. Reported accounts have claimed witness to this eerie ghost light. While each depiction remains unique, oftentimes it's described as a swaying lantern or a bright white beam of an oncoming train. Arguments portray a lantern swaying back and forth, slowly creeping its way down the tracks. Other accounts describe the phenomena as a blinding beam of white light rather than a swinging lantern. Alternate reports have described it as a combination of the two. While the beam splits the night, a small lantern is seen below or off to the side. Some have reported the lantern resting on the front of the train, like a worker sitting as the train flies forward. Witnesses have insisted the light is haunted by the whispers of an approaching train barreling down the tracks towards them. The ground reverberates beneath their feet as the train edges closer. In most cases, the sound and vibration deter tourists. However, some linger, hoping to catch a glimpse of this mysterious ray, only to be a fly on the wall to a sinister change of the seemingly innocent bright white light. It creeps closer and closer and closer. The ground vibrates, rumbling and drumming as the thunderous locomotive steams forward. Pebbles trampoline against roads as the reverberations encroach their way into the nerves of spectators. Crawling closer, the bright light bleeds a bright crimson beam, honing on to onlookers. Unexplainable vehicle drawbacks were described during this mysterious apparition. Eyewitness statements claimed that if their vehicles were turned off while they were waiting for the spine-tingling encounter, they were unable to start them once the apparition appeared. For those who kept their vehicles running, many reported unexplainable mechanical issues. In most cases, turn signals, wiper blades, or car alarms would suddenly initiate. One depiction reported seeing steam manifest from the engine block of their car. Upon closer inspection, they discovered an unexplainable fire in the engine. Clambering into the car, they escaped, hoping the fire would extinguish while driving. Mysteriously, upon evacuation of the vicinity, the small flame vanished. To ensure it was not any serious mechanical failure, the eyewitness visited the mechanic the next morning. Upon closer inspection, it was reported that the vehicle was undamaged, with no explanation as to the strange event. Skeptics challenge eyewitness accounts, suggesting the ghost light was merely the reflection of lights on the nearby highway. In response, a school science project attempted to prove the reflections are glimmers of vehicle lights. However, no evidence was able to prove the rays of light were able to reach the tracks. Local residents defend their beliefs in this generational legend, claiming that this mysterious light has haunted the tracks before cars traversed the area. With no other explanation, it leaves skeptics hungry for answers. The devastation fostering this legend varies, the only similarity being the unfortunate demise of a railroad worker. One depiction speculates an engineer or conductor was performing maintenance on the tracks or locomotive. An oncoming train struck the worker, decapitating him when it was unable to stop. Postulations claim the lantern is that of the forgotten worker, forever wandering the tracks in search of their lost head. Contrary portrayals suggest that the worker operated along the tracks, acting as a beacon for locomotives switching tracks. In the dead of night, the victim's lantern faintly pierced the encapsulating darkness. A barreling train, unable to stop, overwhelmed the worker, striking him and ending his life in a tragic accident. It's said that the lantern wanders aimlessly up and down the tracks, attempting to warn spectators of the horrific disaster that forever haunts the rail line. The swaying lantern beckons out of the darkness, reminding onlookers of the legendary ghost light of St. Louis.